It was only November, but the stagnant British heat was already overwhelming him. In the beginning, it seemed as if Linton would never leave London. As he gazed out of the grimy fog of his studio window, he noticed the printout and read the email. New opportunities for tutors in the Gulf. As he was still only 37, he felt the need to break out of the rut that had consumed him. He was still sore about losing his Lebanese girlfriend. She was a classic Arab beauty with finely chiselled Middle East looks. A slight twist to her nose, an inquisitive smile, giving her the air of someone sweeping in from another world and maybe just visiting. Lena. She told him tales of intrigue about the American air base in the Gulf and some continuing intrigue about counter-terror operations involving fake money and political double-dealing, and about something called the Island. He was crazy about her, but at an office do, things got out of hand with another girl. When she found out, she just stormed off. He thought it was the last he would hear from her, but for some reason, an algorithm honed into her company that had sent him the email. The aftermath of the breakup left him reeling, ripped apart and screaming, raw, open to the world. Possessed by an exhilarating despair, he felt his soul naked and needed to hide from the eternal, unseeing eyes that made him feel like his mind had left his body. Because at that moment, the worst effects of climate change were already ripping apart his once familiar world. As the seas rose, Europe broke up into a series of archipelagos, surrounded by toxic chemical lagoons. In these, genetically modified organisms struggled to survive, just as he struggles with his broken heart. Reality had been upended, and all the once familiar landmarks of his youth had been transformed into an archetype of a hitherto unyielding dystopia. Distant voices echoed blasphemous prayers across the buildings he walked through. The dead son of a whirlwind passed over the Dakota building. The people below shivered in a strange delight. It was midnight on Venus. The furs are flying the flag. Crossing the street towards Tottenham Court Road, he couldn't help noticing a small placard in a shop window. "I've just killed Nick. When I get out of prison, I'll kill you too. No one but us should know the secret." Something about the note startled him. It seemed too familiar to be addressed to anyone else but him. But who was Nick? Doesn't everyone know a Nick? He tried to brush away the thought. As a journalist, his career involved the monetarization of information. Any thought, any idea, any innuendo can take on a life of its own. And lives were being fought and lost on the shifting sands of the Arabian Peninsula and the flooded deltas of the New Sahara. He read the news reports of the mother of all hurricanes smashing a hole into the Egyptian desert and watched with horrified detachment as the sand being dumped into the Red Sea created a new series of islands. An island of reclaimed toxic mud had become the world's first independent free state and had become an offshore harbour for dark currencies and laundered money as well as stolen information. As Los Angeles burned, he thought about the new journalism he was becoming. Any information can be monetized, any fragment of a conversation. Any embarrassment, any shame, hurt, mistake, victimization. To control, harvest, sell information, the newest form of capitalism. Everything can be auctioned to the advertisers with a maximum of selling products. Lena was a postgraduate student in the Department of Architecture. She was once very close to me, but had slipped through my fingers. At that point, I stopped being a nice guy. Not that she's ever going to speak to me again. She has connections. She knows things. She is untouchable. She is she. Sometimes I wonder if she even ever existed outside my need for her. Lena. The guy's a complete sleazeball. He doesn't know me. He doesn't know anything about me. Yet he thinks he's got the right to project all these fantasies on me. Loser. But we're working on him. We've been manipulating him for quite some time. Here, want to know a secret? The US entertainment industry is collapsing. Just look who we have under our radar. Linton picked his way uneasily through the abandoned hotel lobby. At his age, he was aware that a trip to the Gulf might be his last internship. She's impossible to please. I'd give her my soul, and it wouldn't be enough. Linton struggled to his feet and walked through the squalid apartment. He dreamt that Lena was still asleep on the couch opposite him. As he walked towards her, he felt as though he could walk out of the window and travel faster than light on an invisible rainbow. Opening his eyes, still half asleep, a powerful euphoria enthralled him, and it felt as if a new colour had been added to this dismal light. The emotions nebulously clung to him as he walked, blinded by a strange new light, across the London docklands. The rail service had just opened, and he travelled right to the end of the known London universe. Walking out onto the shifted dereliction, he felt as though the energy of the cosmos charged his every step. He walked past giant, octagonal, concrete, tessellated industrial structures resembling modern art. The wave machine. In a futile effort to reverse the drought, people had created new carbon capture technology. It failed to stop the evaporation of the North Sea into a sump of fetid slime. Along the causeway, whores paraded, silently draping themselves onto the structures. Italian, African, Swedish. They seemed to ignore him, but were secretly watching him down the pier. The three whores, Letitia, Kitty, and Alicia, studied him intently as he walked off. Alicia, what a creepy guy, complete loser. Why do they keep tabs on him? Letitia, I don't mind him. He's okay, isn't he? Kitty, whatever. We just got to report his movements before the star sign changes. Alicia, you going to tell him or not? Letitia, oi mate, don't board that ferry. Kitty, I don't think he heard. Letitia, don't worry, he'll find out. Linton boarded the helipad. He was the only passenger. A hovercraft appeared. He produced his ID and said, Dream Policeman Linton Archer, our Chaos Division, boarding flight to Paris. The vehicle began to move unsteadily across the filthy, fetid swamps. Linton got into the sleep pod. A voice said, The Federation is not your enemy. The Federation fed you, nurtured you, made you what you are. Renounce freedom now. The fires you seek lead to more magnitude. Manganese flares yield unyielding certain gratitude. The answer to your questions are soaked in honey. The wind of uncertainty uncovers 10 principal causes of celebration, and in light of what you have told us, expect no uncertain deliverance. Your destiny is in the palm of your hand. Palm trees line the pagoda of delirium as the skies seek absence from perpetual rain. It's just a way of disguising your feelings. Take on a new identity every few years. You're a journalist, undercover reporter, philosophy lecturer, graffiti removal expert, anything you want to believe, just as long as you believe it and forget your identity you already have, and completely merged in wherever we send you. You're a deep-sea diver, minerals expert, quantum mechanical engineer, bank transfer analysis officer, police siren identity expert. Because all of this will be forgotten by you. But we remember everything, and everything you see, we see. In everything you know, we know, and everything you uncover, we feed off. The small silver toads you rescued from the top of an abandoned skyscraper where the French delegation was having its last assignment are at risk from the maggots inside a plastic box you rescued them from. You're never going to get through the customs, especially with these assault allegations. You provide linkage to other universes. A light is burning across the gulf as pieces of space debris enter the atmosphere. The glittering ash that burns from the sides of your eyes is the last memory of your fallen comrade. We lost him through ignorance. You're going the same way. It's a fickle type of deceit. Interzone. You will reach the district in 20 minutes. Prepare security. As the vehicle meandered through the shifting delta, Linton drifted in and out of consciousness. His thoughts betrayed an uneasy, underlying sense of confusion. I'm lost again. This new assignment is taking on a life of its own, a new career in an artificial world. Taxing scorpions without realizing it, Linton had begun releasing flying foxes. Their silver fur rained down effervescent ellipses onto the marshes outside. Unfettered by human imagination, he found the Gabon flag, with its emblem of a mongoose devouring an ostrich egg. The flag raised questions. Where is the underlying sun? The worshippers pressed close, getting more insistent as they opened their blasphemous prayer books. As I climbed the hillside on the coast, remembered from long ago, the hills became mountain peaks crammed with childhood memories. The entrance to the tunnel was loosely boarded up. Inside, the wooden spiral staircase beckoned. People appeared. Lovers, angels, wicked childish hearts can be broken as waves crash against distant shores. Unheard songs echo across abandoned boulevards. Their derelict lyrics pursue the scorched earth. Soul approach takes on a new meaning as the star clusters fade. Grey skies greet oblivion with a familiar smile. The knowingness becomes revelatory. Outside, the three whores watched the vehicle as it lurched unsteadily across the delta. Letitia picked up the phone and watched the tracking device. We got him located at Sector 9. Think he's going south. Soon out of view. We can keep tabs on him from here. From here on now. Okay, keep us in the loop. When are we meeting again? When the thunder clouds give in. When our mission is done. How will we know when that happens? When the hurricanes descend? When the humans repent? When the starship descends? And who will we confront? The one called Linton. When the hurly-burly descends, when darkness triumphs again, there we will meet upon the heath. I do not think he can resist us much longer. Every one has their breaking point. His details are not going to keep him in the red much more than 48 hours. The heathen life has many secrets. What happened last year? The year of the fog. When the rains hit the harbour, whatever happened will happen. Purple, tinted disinformation highway tears the final night, and tears burn. When did he say that? When his voice turned to steam. Who controls the voice? An avatar called Steve, who works in securities as an algorithm syndicate. Sometimes. Tell me, who controls the finances? Lena. I thought she was the adjudicator. Where did she leave the file? Nobody knows. The delegates have the key to US bankruptcy. Listen to his voice. The thoughts of the dead are always with us. As I flagged down the van, asking for directions, I was immediately arrested and taken inside. 2 undercover officers disguised as labourers had been tracking me for quite some time. I became disorientated, but refused to believe their story as they revealed their intentions. We went inside, and they stole my data. pushing the code to maximum. When it happened, I heard the reflection before the sound waves hit. The whole of the South Island had been destroyed. The golden duckling had migrated to someone else's kitchen. The President of the Republic has declared this to be a lawless event. The Republic is no more. As I moved to the left of the auditorium, sitting down, I saw the rowdy students in a different light as they toyed with their vapour. Vapes and phones were exchanged for narcotics. Someone gave me a lift into the central plaza where a boat was stationed. The speaker was adjusting his tarot cards ahead of the psychic meeting. Quite a disturbing day. In the department store, a woman was berating her ex for stealing her money. A guy dropped some money. Picking it up, I walked slowly towards him, but was accused of stealing by a grinning ghoul. Then one of my dates returned a message. In the refectory, the students were getting rowdy. Someone accused me of stealing his ideas. The documents were open. The students were pressing against each other on the bed. The shabby apartment was smothered with posters and memorabilia. A girl was getting cosy. As the others left, she got closer. Looking for some innuendo, I walked out across the Georgian streets. Old London, but forever stretching forward. I crossed innumerable streets, but was in a run-down northern town. No way back. The station is closed. It's forever Sunday. A man makes love to a mannequin as his wife watches. The wife is suspicious of something. A feeling for beauty distilled over towering poplars. Birds call from afar. The messages float uneasily over abandoned department buildings and decaying industrial units. He turned into a nearby dive bar. Ordering coffee, they still allowed him to smoke just by the window. The grimy, flickering face, the grimy, flickering face of the president bloated and distorted out of all proportion. We want to build Mexico and use the refugees as slave labor. They're going to improve things really badly, but without unreasonable efforts, their diseases will clean our minds and our sheets, and our streets will be safe again without their contamination. We can contain them and rebuild Gaza in Panama. The Mexicans will pay for it. They always pay. The pollution has been abolished because it's absolutely forbidden to lie about our new, clean, smoky coal tar reserves that only harm the misinformation and warmongering lying previous administration covering up all sorts of things. We got mighty fine prospects. People of all sides, both points of view can be contained within the Clean Air Pollution Act. We're getting rid of environmental harm. It's forbidden to ever mention it again. We're not going to go back there. They've stolen a lot of ideas. We've considered deporting them. The knife man entered the hotel, into the food store, and threw down the cursed book. The shivering of the corridors let him down. I'm sorry, pal, but you're going to have to leave the store. Don't make it harder on yourself or on us. Nothing personal, but as soon as you threaten our staff, the police get involved, and this thing snowballs. Do yourself a favour, just leave. Linton watched the confrontation out of the corner of his eye. The vagrant left. Linton left the store and walked into the auditorium. An exhibition was underway. He recognised some of his paintings and congratulated the organisers. Lena appeared and seemed at first forgiving and happy to see him. They embraced and then descended the escalator, but losing her in the crowd, he got trapped in Beckton. The carriage was empty and kept returning to the abandoned station. Moving to and fro, he realised it was the end of the line. The voice returned. Liberate another hotel. The seasons are vast. I kissed the tall Spanish woman. In the garden, the monkeys were playing with the children. Upstairs, they arrested the writer after the assault. I took the cart, laden with documents, across the wasteland. When I got to the basement, I found out we were underwater. Treacherous sea. The musicians entered one by one. The rats were breeding again. Linton watched with a repulsive interest as they engaged in humanoid orgies. I want to do Rushdie again, it reminds him of pornographers. He needs psychiatric help. He brought vodka to the lodger, who shrank to puppet size, rotating and frothing. Rushdie turned away and walked into the sea. The seas are open at last. I managed to climb the hollow rock and onto the trees. Inside, a man began driving away the tourists with a whip. This is a mosque. Higher onto the trees at the edge of the cliff, I saw the city. If I could only get across the chasm, I would be free. The drop was dizzying, but a lion was trapped in the basement part, frantically pacing about. We managed to escape through stillness. So a supersized green and black tiger moved menacingly towards us. What did Caroline say? I thought you were working together. She's going to send you the perfect business opportunity. When Linton disembarked and boarded the hotel, he found friendly faces from long ago. American John was talking about the deer hunter. People from long ago were guiding him towards different views across the dining halls. The flooded zone, the Parisian Delta, the collapsing sea. People were turning into gold at the mention of the swing. Other people fighting over ancient lovers displaced yesterday's antiquities. Jealousy, intrigue, betrayal. Downstairs, in the reception, the conversation was darkened by incels. We had to intervene to tone it down a level. Father issued a ticket. Later, everyone wound down and left. The night returned as the air cleared. The landlord appeared and started dancing. As if to mock him, so did I. In the next room, I opened the window to hear a public announcement. The air is not clean. Stay inside. But I felt ashamed at how things turned out, so I returned to the living room to bless the baby. Later, I took her on a canoe ride to see the mink gremlins playing in the street. In the stream a while above, the hornbills nested, resting on rooftops. Who knew that just outside our reach a host of orchids, tree heather, botanical mayhem and undocumented mutant wild species were thriving? The public announcement continues with a conversation between the princes and the general. You didn't have to kill my father. I had to do what I had to do. Nothing can change that past. I used to see my duties as a complicated game, a mixture of nuances, an assassination, a subtle manipulation of a cryptocurrency, a market failure, a transaction incomplete. But now, listening to your tirades against culture, against painting, against reason itself, I see my mission in clarity, black and white. I will release 7 demons from hell. They will follow you to the end of time. The singer had become a prophet and poured therapy liquid onto me. I searched for reptiles in the caravan park as I was clearing toxins. The light began to fade. You were never the chosen one. You will never be loved. Your threats are meaningless. Without me, our whole kingdom will collapse and you will come to regret your actions. There's no room for negotiation. You have disappointed the family. We have lost the holy sepulchre of our people. Now there's no turning back. Linton switched off the radio and lost himself in thought. I returned to my previous accommodation, only to find my room had been shunted aside to make way for a new resident who knew nothing about Kay and what I was sealing shut with words, and wounds gradually opened to visit the bread shop. A plane circled the lanes, moving ahead. I recorded the music show for later. The colonialists got the locals to give up their religion. It did them no good. After getting into the Stones and the Black Eyed Peas, the elders got them vomiting excrement. I looked through the phone. Black and white expressionist shadows threw the interior into sharp relief. The director of the school was firing arrows at me, her beautiful face confused. Why the attitude? Food served was tasteless. The gangsters were pressing us into a corner as I tried to protect Emma. In the end, I decided to use the power. Slowing down time, I pelted them with fists. Later, I hid Emma in the refectory garden. On return, we watched the Don being driven away. She said, "Look, you're a fat old man now." Natasha helped me clean down the staircase to the heart of the subway. Catherine laughed at me. "Sure, I was ugly then. Look at me now." Two of the other girls were arguing about a ticket. "Actually, I'm American." Then they kissed and made up. She shone the light at me, but just as I passed the causeway, a group of students said, "Hey, we're boarding this plane to Afghanistan. Want to join us?" I climbed in, but I realised too late I had no documentation or money. How would I organise this? "Keep your ears flapping out of my business or you're going to fly away, pal." In order to get to the restaurant, I had to pass under a cold shower. I reached for a towel and read the morning papers. News was dull. Centuries can pass in seconds without anything happening, but at one crucial hour, time itself began revealing its blasphemous secrets. The island had produced its first casualty. Truth, the echo of the rainbow, drugged the atmosphere. All around us, toy soldiers faced their reckoning. Paper tigers danced an obscene parabellum. The basilisks, the dog, the concert, the refund, the message coded the photos of the interior. The dog shivered in fear as I coloured the scales of the reptile. As I was barred from the event, I searched for lost money. Fearing the message had been unsent, I lay cryptic clues as to my whereabouts. In the decades that passed, psychic freedom seemed a millennium away. The preacher was controlling access to the feeding room, and as his face aged, the sleepers moved in. "Don't take any more of the substance, Kate. We need to get to the safe room." A car is racing along a dirt track, swaying and bumping. A middle-aged blonde woman is driving. In the back seat, a man is unconscious with oxygen tubes attached. Another car races towards them, trying to catch up. He crashes into the car after several times before he falls back. At last he connects. At that moment, a portal opened and a one-armed man appears, saying, "If you give him the antidote, you will soon find another side." "The boy's got some new tools." "No, the lady's in charge now. Move on." He speeds away, leaving the man in hospital with the woman feeding him grapes. "Wake up, honey. We're looking after you now." "Oh, who's a wakey baby then?" "Oh, hi, honey. Where are we?" "In the hospital. You just had a rude awakening." "To what?" "This!" She rips off the hotel tubes, leaving his gasping and casualty. She casually walks away. "Nurse, nurse!" The attendant rearranges his prosthetic, but the woman has vanished. Scene pans to a gambling room in Colombia. The other dishes the cards as the wounded man looks on. "Who's got the ace?" "You've cheated me, you bastard." On the store, where the creatures meet, I heard the whore gasp out loud, "You will sense the coming storm." The spring is sleeping as fires sweep the suburbs. Outside, the leaves are howling. People bring me flowers. "What flowers have you for me?" "Telepathic compromat. Sending it to you online." The participatory anthropic principle sensed its presence on the outer layers of the moon's atmosphere, passing over its oceans, and watched the flowers melt. Time-static intuition feeds the transact. We've got the Silk Road on our storm shadow. The killer clown released his favourite jailbird. "Dude, we're going to get a lot of fun out of this one, seriously." "What do you mean?" "Work it out for yourself. He runs an industrial narcotics travelling ring. Adding him to our list, and the island will go thermal." "Those drugs, what do they do?" "Dude, it's like space meets Substance D. We can get people to fold space, travel in time, and contact the spirits of the dead." "Far out. You take that BS seriously?" "Don't take it from me. Read the literature." The shadow passed John the book. Man, this is crazy. I thought we'd lost this guy completely. He's gonna be our best agent. But be careful how you handle him. He can be tricky. His info is gold dust, but he's paranoid as fuck. Think a honey trap will do? Gotta be our best way. He's only 37, and he's been in prison for 10 years. He's gonna feel needy. We intend to create neural pathways that we can code against his sense of existence. We're gonna make him feel needy, paranoid, and used. Her power is located in the grid. Which grid? The one that moves masts. Sky masts? Perhaps you should ask Jake. We disposed of him years ago. It feels like only minutes. He's gonna feel a lot sooner now. Why? Mr. Feltman is here to talk to you. Ask them the price of an ophthalmologist. I managed to infiltrate the Feltman's apartment. Prestigious, immaculate, clean. The guests floated around discussing the secret. All beautiful people. The baby had been washed out of the boat, but the storm was illusory. Really, someone was swapping partners, but no one let me know. At some point, I would try to leave the apartment, but they all knew what I knew. At first, I felt flattered that they would let me in on their secret. The treehouse connection to the living room was an optical illusion. Suddenly, they turned on me. Kneel down! They sprayed me and started laughing, talking in gibberish. The arcade folded in, hiding its decay. So I started watching dystopic science fiction, William Burroughs and nihilistic horror movies, and I couldn't tell the difference between what was actually happening outside. The real world was becoming the parody. The films show grey, lifeless ruins of once green and prosperous lands, the survivors eking out an existence by preying on each other. As I walked out of my apartment, it seemed like a mild relief, but no real change. But once again, the words of the president echoed through the thin, grimy streets. We're going to make them pay. They're going to pay. They're going to pay like never before. We're not going to lie about it. We're not going to lie. The cleanest type of pollution ever invented is coming back by Friday. It's a brand new disease-free pollution. It's a clean pollution. It's an environmental revolution in clean pollution. It's the cleanest form of pollution ever invented, and we're going to build it sky high. The Mexicans are going to pay for it. We're using Gaza's people to build it. It's going to be immense. A lot of people are already proud of what we do there. They're good people. Good people on both sides. The Gaza people are paying for it. The Canadian government is paying for it. You're not paying for it. Nobody pays for it. It's not going to happen. Everyone pays. It's free to pay. The pollution is the cheapest, greenest, cleanest pollution ever paid for. Not by us, by them. The others always pay. You don't need to pay. We're not using bleach, we're using lithium, and we're recycling things people thought were worthless. We're bringing them back. It's all coming back. It's coming home. It's free. The Gazan people are free. They're going to love Mexico for it's all coming back. My head started spinning as I watched the advisors turn green with horror. As his neck split open and a wordless, spinning, mindless gash of purple slime erupted out of his neck, as his head exploded and a weird fish moth slime bulb emerged and fell out of view. So the TV itself began bleeding from the corners. At first, thick knots of congealing bulb dripping down the rusting green simultaneously. About 20 TVs began dissolving as he watched the shop window give vent to more slime mucus, blood, clot, snot, streaming phlegm. Walking between the increasingly narrow streets got more complicated as the ripples of slime built up underfoot. I was looking through images of executed prisoners to try to stir up some resemblance of humanity, and I started to cry. Lotta Salvini, Italian resistance fighter captured by the Nazis, 1947, alternative obscurity. Brushing my hand at the transact, and she started to smile, almost forgiving me. We have been waiting. It's cold here. All the while, an infinite sea of lovers fought for my soul, progressively getting nearer to the ambition, but failing at the last minute. I turned on the dating app. Okay, so this is how the honey trap's going to work. When America falls, so does the world. Trapped in a besieged hall of mirrors, strangling itself with self-delusion, it is in a downward spiral. It's starting to break up into 3 units, California, New York and Texas, with an undefined shifting hinterland. The climate of the hinterland is unreliable. Massive firestorms, followed by intermittent flooding makes travel difficult. No longer functional as a normal democratic state, American life has become a series of delusions, the homeless joined up with various militias as a necessity for survival. We can single-handedly affect the prices of cryptocurrency transactions in any sector we choose. I love scrolling through the dating app. The wind howls gently through the decades. The cop pulled me over. My van was full of stolen drugs and guns. He was about to tell me to get out, but was distracted by the railroad. I ran out towards the advancing train, missed it by seconds, and sprinted zigzag style across the scrubland until I reached a hill where there was more cover. I crashed on through the undergrowth. A helicopter buzzed about, then faded away. I kept stumbling until I reached a homeless encampment. The night faded. Dawn light, and I carried on until I found a bus shelter. Because I always kept cash, I got on the bus. I kept my head down. I got out. Now I was in Interzone. I arrived at the recruiting station. Only a gun and some cash on me. You sure know how to make an entrance, boy. We've been expecting you. You're not an American. This is Interzone. Your laws do not apply here. The cops can't trace you. Here, take this ticket. Head for Milwaukee. Meet Lem. He will tell you where the pickup is. You don't like moving, do you, boy? Well, I stayed here for as long as I could, but the town started to react, turn against me. I can feel the place turn against me. First the people, then the streets, finally even the stones and the birds. At first it was a difficult decision to run. Later, the life I used to lead seemed like it happened to someone else. A safe house, built of heavy stones hidden in a valley. It seems as though I had heard distant voices from far away. The snow-covered pasture revealed crisp unease as the voice from the building announced, "This is a closed military area." Ascending the stairs, I found the artists among the dereliction. "Room service." "Here's the check. Don't forget the difference." "Room service." "Hey there, I used to be the waiter." "Room service." "I've been waiting around for ages." "Room service." "No, don't hit me with that flour." And the time's forever up, and the time keeps crawling here, and the time's been the same for years, and the time remains in gear. It's Chinatown. Don't keep throwing yourself around. "Room service." "Don't mention it. Don't even frown." "Room service." "What do I pay you for, some kind of clown?" "Room service." You don't need to throw your weight around. And it's 6:30. I got left with the chicks. It's only you, I do it for the kicks. And if the fire starts burning, keep throwing bricks. "He's got dead eyes, blinded by too much killing." What about us? They'll take care of everything when given time. I collapsed into the hotel room. Paranoid thoughts became impossible to avoid as brain-eating worms escaped from my eyes. I clutched my gold ring. It was missing. A beautiful woman was wearing it. On the bed, opposite, still asleep. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Where's my divorce papers and my citizenship? I can't legally leave the room. Unless the Romans agree, the civil law is abandoned. After 20 months, it's complicated. What is the way out? There is no way out, except from where you came from. The airport is closed. The streets are closed at night. Military vehicles patrol separate areas. You have to bribe the right people. That's all for now. Question the law and vote for the right web advertising. So I walked down Hawthorne Boulevard and I saw a girl cruising ahead. Turning to notice, she said, "Hi, I'm Letitia, I'm 34, live locally. Can you do me a favour and get me something to eat?" "Sure, where from?" "There's a store ahead." So we walked into the joint. "Letitia, stop bothering the customers. Just get a job like everyone else." I silenced the clerk with a glance and said, "What would you like?" So she had her takeout and we walked down the street. "What would you like to do now?" "Have you got a car or a motel?" "Oh, you're not going to let me sleep outside again?" "Well, okay. We can walk back to Hawthorne Boulevard Motel. It's not far. Come on in." "Wait, weren't you a student of mine on the journalism course? I remember you. You never showed up." "Well, I got sidetracked. Fell into the wrong crowd, drugs and stuff." "You over that now?" "Sure." "So how come you're street walking? It's a hazard of modern life." "I'm surprised you even recognize me." "I didn't at first. Doesn't LA look different these days? The homeless encampments outnumber the buildings still standing, and the abandoned skyscrapers are beginning to collapse. It's got a lot worse recently. Rents go up, wages stay down, the global economy crashes, and then these hurricane storms, burn down a whole district. Next year, the place gets flooded out. We don't know what's going to hit us next. Look outside. The view's kind of different, keeps changing every season. It's a lot different from how I remembered it. Los Angeles District Council seems like a distant memory. Who's running the place now?" "Well, it's divided up into 10 districts, all vying for control of the water, food and energy supplies. Money is channeled through narcotics, spice, thunder, ice. When the depots are down, the junkies start to squeak. That's where you came in." "Why does it always have to be me?" "Has to be someone. They always pick on a journalist. We're only here to report information." "All information is power. It's money now, and survival." "I'm just a reporter." "I don't see why they make me carry the can." "Well, we've been tracking you all the way from Albuquerque." "I was using a burner." "We had access to it." "Know a lot of your secrets now, so you better start talking." "I can't reveal my sources." "You don't have to. See the girl in the other room? She was teaching me how to aim a gun at the crowd. It seems like someone got shot just practicing it. She was in with the gangsters. It was New Year's Eve, but everywhere had closed early. The minister said it was to protect women, so we had to go to Celia's place for alcohol. Inside, the atmosphere was threatening. That's when they slid me the list." "So you figure the place is safe now?" "Don't look safe to me. Sure as hell doesn't feel that way outside the windows. Giant vultures feed on homeless people. They use fentanyl just to off themselves. There's not even food stamps. We can only survive by incrimination. So what do I need to do?" "Sit tight. Wait for the information. We're going to send it to you via the code."